Hello, my name is Lars Thom, and I am the founder of a company called Beijing Postcards that are trying to make people relate to the history of the city of Beijing. And we are doing that through all kinds of research that we conduct, and we do walks and talks and all kinds of events that all have one thing in common, and that is history. For a long time, we have been thinking about making a book club. But because that we have been so busy, we have not really gotten around to it. But that has changed because we're not that busy right now. Because as you might know, pretty much all of Beijing is in quarantine. So now suddenly we are envisioning that a lot of people are sitting back home fairly bored simply because the city has closed down around them. So we think that maybe now is the perfect time launching our book club. But with everything Beijing Postcards do, there are rules. We will not just make any book club. There are some fairly narrow rules about the books that we will be reading. And that is why inside this little sort of enclosure here, I have placed 4 slips of paper. And if I open it here, you can see that among chocolate and nuts left over from Christmas, I have written something on them. And the first one that I would like to show you is this one. It says Beijing, and that is because everything that Beijing Postcards do is themed. And the books that we will be reading, they will be about Beijing. And we will very often, if possible, find books that relate directly to the area that we are based in, the Dar es Salaam area, just around the Tiananmen Square and the old legation quarter. So the books that we will predominantly be exploring has got something to do with those areas. Another thing is research. We will choose books that are history books. We will not just read novels. We think that our book club will be a book club for reading history. And when we're talking about history, we will emphasize books that are sourced really well. Because we think that it is actually interesting to make a book club where everybody will read the same book, and then we will also debate the sources. Why is the author saying what he is saying? Is he maybe mistaken in certain areas? Or where does he have his material from? Does he have a bias? That kind of thing. Because all of this will lead to discussion. Because we envision that once, maybe every third month, then people in the book club will have the opportunity of signing up for an event at our gallery where we will make a little talk about the content of the book, and we will show some of the sources that is used in this book, and then we will simply debate the book and the contents of it. And now to the most important thing, obviously, and that is, what book is it that will be the first book for the Beijing Postcards book club? And the book that I have chosen is this book. It is called The Last Days of Old Beijing, and it is written by Michael Meyer. I had actually heard about this book for quite a while. But I had to admit that I was a little bit arrogant. I thought that this book was maybe not very good. Maybe I was even a little bit intimidated by it. Because what is really interesting about this book is that Michael Meyer was actually conducting research in Dar es Salaam, where we are now conducting research, 10 years ago, just around the time of the Olympics. And when I finally, after I got it for Christmas, read the book during these couple of days, I realized that it's actually a really, really good book. It's extremely well written. And I will really recommend it. And I think it's also interesting in itself that the Beijing that Michael Meyer is writing about, that existed 10 years ago, in so many ways feels like history. Because that is how fast this city of Beijing is changing. And when I say that Michael Meyer, he was conducting research in Dar es Salaam, then it actually doesn't really stop there. Michael Meyer literally lived 100 meters where Beijing Postcards, a gallery, is today. And the map inside this book that was sort of showing his world in Dar es Salaam is pretty much our world. And that is just amazing, really. That suddenly inside this book we can find some really interesting angles from 10 years ago into what we are doing today. So what are the odds for that? So if you're interested in reading this book with us, then you can read more below. You can find this book on Kindle. You can buy it on Amazon. And we will make a WeChat group that we will just call the Beijing Postcards Book Club. I really, really hope that you will join us. Thank you.